Hello YouTube, what is going on? This is Epic Big Bird and I am back with some more Rome 2 online commentary for you all today. Today this is a large funds battle as usual, guys. I have chosen Macedonia and I'm facing off against Sparta, and that's one of the reasons why I've chosen Macedonia. Really liking the spear factions as of late, but going into face Sparta, I didn't really want to use Carthage. I thought would it would be a little too easy. I think Carthage is one of the power factions now, and to be honest, Sparta really isn't a power faction due to how little tools Sparta has as a faction. Going into this battle, whenever you face Sparta, you pretty much know you're gonna face pikes and probably heavy missiles. That's probably gonna be your biggest problem. If they bring cavalry, I'm not sure if they have access to shot cav. After patch 11, I thought they might have gotten that companion cavalry, that mercenary companion, possibly, but I don't think so. But anyways, so knowing that, this is kind of how I built this Macedonian army, and this is one of the reasons why I love Macedon, because they are really versatile. If to an extent, they have decent swords, along with these Royal Peltasts, which are really good sword units. Sorry about that, guys. That was a little laggy. But I chose to bring 6 of these Royal Peltasts with 6 Libyan, or excuse me, just 6 regular Peltasts. Because I knew I would be facing pikes, and pikes are pretty vulnerable to javelins. So, but you can see here my opponent has brought in a lot of Rhodian slingers, Cretan archers. These are going to be most effectively used on my javelins. So we'll see how that plays out. And for my cavalry, I have brought with me 2 sets of companion cav, 1 on each flank, 4 citizen cav. Again, 2 on each flank, and then I have 2 Sarissa cav. These 2 positioned more to the rear of my opponent's army. You can see here from the tactical, we've already gotten quite an envelop, somewhat. I'm going to keep my infantry to his front, flank around with my cav. These cav are basically going to be waiting for openings. So from what I can see of his army right now and how it's composed, he has, this is how I'm reading it, he has 3 pikemen from the front, they're all Spartan pikes. He has a bunch of Royal Spartans in the rear. So we're just going to ignore the rear. That's not where we're going to want to attack. So yeah, he has 3 Spartan pikes to the front. He has 1 Spartan pike on his left, 1 Spartan pike on his right, and then, like I said earlier, a pretty strong anchor in his rear. So I believe the smart thing to do here is we're gonna target these Spartan pikemen on the flanks, because they're gonna be the ones that are basically spread the thinnest. So yeah, I'm gonna try and break this box by taking out the side walls here, and that will hopefully leave a gap for my cavalry to run in, get some charges in on these Cretan archers and things like that. What you can see here is I'm screening with my heavy infantry, so my javelins don't have to worry about perhaps maybe if his cavalry were to try and come out and kill my peltasts. This way my Royal Peltasts can fire unopposed into his javelins, or into his pikes, excuse me. However, he is returning fire with his own skirmishers. So, but I am focus firing. I have these 2 javelins are going to target this guy in the flank, and you can see he's doing quite a lot of damage to them. The 2 middle ones are targeting the frontal Spartan pikemen, and even front on, you can see they're doing quite a bit of damage. And then these 2 are also targeting this flank. But yeah, over here you can see we're being quite successful. They're dropping pretty quick because we're hitting them in that flank, that unguarded side. Over here, I assume that's why we're not getting as much kills, because I believe we're throwing into their guarded shield side. Oh, I guess we're not. That's interesting. But here you can see here, I'm actually starting to maneuver my Royal Peltasts, because these guys have javelins just like the Roman Legionnaires do, that they will throw before they charge. So I'm doing that, and you can see that's doing quite a bit of damage, being very micro intensive, but it is paying off because these javelin throws are quite devastating. You can see I just dropped that Spartan Pike unit down by like 15 men, possibly more. But you can see as far as the skirmishing goes, his skirmishing element is still quite potent. He's routed my center for my skirmishers. I still have my left and right, but again, it won't be long until my javelins are dead. I chose these javelins. This is quite important. These javelins have shields, and you can see that these guys are out of ammo, which is good, which means we used all of our ordnance over here. But yeah, these shields make these guys capable of standing up to skirmish fire a lot longer. And I knew, like I said, going into this battle, that Sparta would have strong pikes and strong skirmishing. So I had to bring javelins that would be able to sustain skirmish fire. But you can see we have thinned this one side down to 41 men. We're actually routing it, which is good. Over here, 80 men strong still over here, not so good. The middle is down to 46 men, which is also quite well. And yes, actually all along the lines, the middle has weakened due to the missed javelins of my other Peltasts, so that's good. Now, I'm still hesitant. I should have been moving my cav up closer so they can strike quicker. I'm still hesitant to make any rash decisions because he does have reinforced Spartan hoplites in the area. But you can see here, I'm going to charge in my Sarissa cav to try and strike a blow to his skirmishing component, because if I don't, at this point, it's not going to be good news for me. They could potentially destroy my, or do significant damage to my infantry corps if they go unchecked. So you can see here I charge in my Sarissa cav. They got a pretty good number on the charge of these mercenary Rhodian slingers, but unfortunately they get swamped by all of these Royal Spartans. However, you can see that maneuver actually opens up my other Sarissa cav to get a very nice charge in on his other Rhodian slingers when his other army was out of formation. Other part of the army, excuse me guys. And you can see I don't even think he's noticed this yet. There you can see I issue my cavalry orders to get to the flanks, and here what I'm doing is I'm going to split my infantry corps. I'm going to leave 2 in the center to hold the center. I'm going to and then send the wings down the flank. Now again, I'm still being very patient. I don't want to charge head on into these Spartan hoplites. At the best, in the best case scenario, I would like these Spartan hoplites to advance towards me. I know I have mobility in this fight, and I intend to use that to my advantage. At this point in the battle, I'm kind of okay. So the good thing is I took out his Rhodian slingers, which are actually have the Rhodian slingers have higher damage, or damage penetration, or excuse me, armor piercing than the archers do. So as far as my infantry, it is relatively safe from his archers, and they should be getting low on ammo. So you can see here I managed to pull his Spartan pikes into unfavorable engagement. Here his Royal Spartans were going to try and flank me, but instead I'm going to countercharge that with my other Royal Peltasts. So that flank should go our as of now, that flank should go our way. Here you can see he has a set of Royal Spartans charging my center. I wasn't really prepared for that. I'm going to try and pull these guys back. Remember, they're under missile fire as well. I'm trying to mobilize my general to provide support for this unit, and I'm also going to throw these Peltasts in there. Yes, but on the right flank is going our way, as I said. However, he is reinforcing with what looks like Royal Spartans. He also has his general unit close by and another Royal Spartan unit he could use to reinforce. There, I charge my general into these Royal Spartans. Honestly, I believe he managed to turn these Royal Spartans around, and he manages to take out 7 or 8 horses on that charge from my general's unit, and I do lose that set of Royal Peltists, which is upsetting. It's unfortunate. However, these Royal Spartans are still isolated, and I want to take advantage of that. Over here you can see he is charged in this blob of Royal Spartans and Citizen Cav. To answer that, I charged in my own set of Citizen Cav and then countercharged this blob with another set of Citizen Cav that was in reserve. Over here I'm going to take out the rest of these mercenary Rhodian Slingers with my companion Cav. You can see here he's pulling these Royal Pikemen into the fight to try and kill my Citizen Cav. I'm going to send in another set of Citizen Cav to this blob to try and swing the tide. And you can see these Royal Spartans that ran down my Royal Peltists are coming to reinforce. So this is pretty dangerous. This is definitely a losing fight for my Citizen Cav at this point. Over here these Spartan Hoplites are still holding. But they are losing, but they're still holding, which is problematic. And again, his left is still quiet. Over here my companion Cav are going to try and it's a really buggy charge right there, but they don't get into the back of that. So I decide I'm going to pull them out, destroy these Cretan archers real quick as an escape route. You can see here, instead of protecting the rear, he decides to charge more of his spikes into this blob. My Citizen Cav are losing decisively, but they are holding this blob in place, so I'm going to decide to charge my companions in there. And you can see there I actually managed to cause these Spartan pikes to waver. On his right's finally collapsing. And you can see here now I decide to mobilize my left wing. I'm going to swing these Royal Peltists down towards the middle. I'm going to try and cut off these units from the rest of the fight. However, he sees this and he's going to try and mobilize his Spartan pikes. He kind of catches me in a little bit of an unfavorable engagement. However, the thing is once my guys get set and in formation, they're probably going to win since he's forming up. His pikes are still forming up because he had to move them, and he moved them right into my own men. And due to my guys' heavy dense formation, they're actually hitting a lot of units right now. Here he leaves his archers open for my Citizen Cav to take, so they're going to take that engagement and then hammer and anvil strike this Spartan pikeman. Over here you can see as far as the cavalry engagement goes, where we engaged with our Citizen Cav, we've pretty much lost that engagement. You can see he still has Citizen Cavalry on the field, and as far as my Cav goes, I have a Citizen Cav and my General's Companion Cav, so I still have the Cav superiority, but compared to what I had at the beginning of the match, it's actually pretty much swung. So that's interesting, and realizing this, I'm going to pull off with my Royal Peltists. I need to conserve what is left of my cavalry to make sure that I ensure a victory here. And you can see here I have a little bit of units still tied up with these pikes, and he is moving a lot of units to reinforce. I'm going to try and come over again to provide relief. But still I'm holding these Royal Peltists here it was an attempt to hold these other Royal Spartans in place. You can see he's not going to have that. He's going to try and commit all of his forces. I'm going to actually charge my general into the rear of these units, and I get a pretty nice charge into the rear of those Royal Spartans. So you can see my units are coming back. I just popped raise the banners there. I'm going to pull out with my general. My Royal Peltists are going to take their place. And again, I'm going to try to avoid the frontal charge. I'm going to go down the flanks, get around these pikes. Over here you can see my Royal Peltists are still holding against these pikes, and now they're finally getting relief from another unit of Royal Peltists. There, my Citizen Cav route. And here I'm finally going to get a really nice envelop on on his general's unit. There I'm going to use my companion Cav to kill his Citizen Cav, which just countercharged my Royal Peltists. And on the left flank we managed to wrap up the rest of those Spartan hoplites. So now what I'm going to do is pull out with my general unit here. and replace it with a Royal Spartan unit, and that's gonna, or excuse me, a Royal Peltist unit, excuse me. That's gonna seal the deal on this fight. These guys are gonna be fighting from all directions now. Some of the best sword units in the game. So yeah, that's not gonna be long until the general's dead. You can see here, to ensure that my men don't get flanked, I pull off my last set of Royal Peltists that were waiting in reserve, set them into shield wall, and my opponent, who I believe knows at this point in the battle it's over, charges my men quite bravely, his Spartan units. I'm afraid to zoom in too close, guys, in case you haven't noticed. I don't have the best graphics. But I still enjoy it. I still find this game quite cinematic, even without the highest graphics. There, that companion cav charge is so cool. It's my general coming to break these last Spartan units. And that's the game. So yeah, great game to my opponent. Really loved that one. That was really close. Really up in the air. Up until the end, really. I'd like to show you some of the battle stats here. Let's start with my army. So I built it around his army, expecting heavy pikes and heavy skirmishers, and that's what I encountered. Now, his skirmishers were still quite effective against my own. So in a sense, he was playing he was playing properly. He was targeting my own javelins. The thing is I brought a lot of javelins, and I was debating targeting his skirmishers. I chose to target his pikes because that's what javelins are always better to be used against. If I would have targeted his skirmishers, granted I still would have been hitting his pikes, but it just would have been wasted ammunition. That could have been damage that you saw how long it took for my sword units to cut through his pikes. If they hadn't have been weakened, that fight probably would have went our way. As far as cavalry goes, I honestly didn't get the numbers I was hoping for out of my citizen cav. Probably because I'm not really sure. I brought them expecting to get them into the rear of his pikes. So yeah, they didn't do as well as I had hoped. Except for this unit right here. My companion cav both did relatively well. These guys were really what was charging into the backs. And these two Sarissa cav actually really paid off getting into those Rhodian slingers. So yeah, great game to my opponent. I hope you guys learned something tactical here. This has been Epic Big Bird, signing off.